Today's movie is supposedly based on a true story, but I searched it up and Lifetime be lying. A young boy named Gavin has been living with his foster parents, married couple Terrence and Bethany Hornby, as they wait for his adoption to get finalized. Terrence works in marketing, and Bethany owns Halo Interiors and home staging. They have a biological daughter named Mila. When going to work, Bethany realizes someone broke in. Suddenly, a big-back security guard scares her, and turns out his ghetto has been sleeping in the beds. His wife has put him in the doghouse. Her lead stager and friend Desi comes over to vent about the date she had dumped recently.
He wanted us to go jogging together on a Sunday.
One night, the couple is shocked upon learning that Gavin's biological mom, Cynthia, wants him back. The court rules in Cynthia's favor and instructs the Hornbys to drop Gavin off at school because Cynthia will pick him up after. The next morning, Terrence and Bethany inform Gavin and Mila about the situation and remind them that they love them. Devastated, both try to quietly process their grief, and Bethany shares their story in Mommy Mine, an online mom support group. After 3 weeks, Bethany suggests trying to conceive again, but Terrence reminds her that her body can't take it and says that he doesn't want to see her in pain again. Shortly after, pregnant woman Georgia Albright runs to their house, asking for help, saying her boyfriend Puck is going to fucking kill her. When they see Puck pull up in the distance, Terrence instructs her to run and enter through their back door. After Georgia frantically begs them not to call the cops because Puck will find her, Terrence expresses doubt, saying she could be lying, and suggests they take her to a shelter or a hospital. Since Bethany volunteers to take Georgia and asks Terrence to stay in case Puck returns, Terrence reminds her of the important phone numbers and to turn her location tracker on. As Bethany drives to a hotel, Georgia shares that she has no friends or family within a couple of thousand miles and that they were on their way to Florida. When Georgia sees that they're about to pass by Puck's car, Bethany instructs her to duck so he won't see her. Puck then stares at Bethany as she drives by. When they reach the hotel, Bethany tells Georgia that she'll pay for the room. Answering Bethany's questions, Georgia shares that Puck is an alcoholic and that he got angry because she wants to give up her baby for adoption. She says that the baby deserves a better life and that Puck isn't even the baby daddy. She adds that the baby's real dad was amazing, but he died by an Ozempic overdose. Instead of putting her in the hotel, Bethany brings Georgia back home and makes her stay in Gavin's room, which greatly concerns Terrence because they don't know her. He says they're going to end up on Dateline. I just know the character Bethany was written for a white woman with zero survival instincts. Later that night, Bethany experiences a nightmare in which Puck intrudes into their home and causes harm. The next morning, Bethany offers to take Georgia shopping because she broke and doesn't have clothes. To her horror, on their way out, Puck greets her at the door, looking for Georgia. Fortunately, after she says she hasn't seen Georgia and suggests he contact the cops, he leaves. While Bethany and Georgia are walking in the parking lot after shopping, Georgia points at a woman named Carmen, saying she saw her in a mommy blog and that she's like a very expensive midwife baby guru. Before going home, Bethany drops by her office, where Kyle Morgan, one of her biggest clients, is waiting for her. The bald-headed man angrily confronts her for avoiding him and reminds her that he had agreements with her dad when her dad started the business. When Bethany walks out and suffers a panic attack, Georgia comforts her and then confronts Kyle for his verbal abuse, claiming that she's Bethany's lawyer. With Georgia as witness, Bethany terminates all contracts between Halo Interiors and Morgan Estates.
Your business is no longer welcomed here. Neither is your nauseating drugstore cologne.
After Kyle leaves, Bethany hires Georgia as her temporary assistant. Girl, you better do a background check. Bethany later informs Terrence about this over a phone call and hears him put down his keys. When she asks if he's home, he lies and says he's in his office. Yo man cheating. Bethany gives Georgia a tour around her office and introduces her to Desi. Bethany also asked her workers to be careful because the egg-shaped decorations they're handling are expensive. When Desi brings up that one of their suppliers is having a financial problem and is holding their items hostage, Bethany gives Desi a solution and permission to get money from the safe since she knows the code. The next morning, Bethany finds multiple bottles of alcohol in their kitchen trash can. Shortly after, Georgia asks permission to be a little late for work because she'll be meeting a couple for brunch for a potential adoption. Bethany offers to drive her, saying she'll wait for her in the car, where she'll get some work done. After the meeting, Georgia informs Bethany that the meeting went great. The couple offered to buy her a car, pay to hire the expensive midwife, and more than enough money for her to settle in Florida. Georgia considers saying yes, but Bethany gives her an offer. Bethany later brings this up with Terrence, who opposes it, saying it's safer to adopt through an agency. He opposes even more when she mentions that they need to give Georgia a car and $30,000, half of which they need to pay up front to challenge the other offer. "I know you f***ing lying." After more convincing, he reluctantly agrees. Unbeknownst to the Hornbys, Puck is watching outside their house. Bethany, Terrence, and Georgia meet with Carmen, the midwife, who briefs them about her services and makes them hear the baby's heartbeat. The next day, Carmen helps Georgia pick up her drop jacket, and Bethany notices Carmen's skull tattoo on her fat back. As they are about to start the prenatal exercise, Bethany finds Puck inside their house, and he starts chasing Georgia. After instructing Carmen to call the cops, Bethany grabs a knife and looks for the pair to save Georgia. After Georgia quietly reunites with Bethany and Carmen, they hide in the basement, where Bethany activates the home alarm, distracting Puck and allowing them to leave. Later that night, a cop is assigned to their house for their safety. Georgia tells Bethany that it's best for everyone if she leaves, but Bethany assures her that she doesn't need to. While hugging, Bethany sees that Georgia is looking at the social media page of Harold and Regina Jones on her tablet. The next day, while looking at apartments, Georgia pretends she's having a heat stroke and manipulates Bethany into getting the bigger and more expensive one for her on the first floor. On move-in day, Bethany gives Georgia a car. Bethany is clearly on meth, should be named Methany. Desi sees Bethany and Georgia arrive at work in their cars. She later warns Bethany about being too generous to Georgia. While Bethany and Georgia are shopping for the baby's clothes, the sales lady recognizes Georgia and asks why she's buying boy clothes when she's having a girl. Georgia denies visiting the store before, saying she might have confused her with someone else. The red flags are all there, yet Bethany refuses to see. While checking their inventory, Desi notices that one of their egg-shaped decorations is missing. Checking the CCTV footage, Desi sees Georgia taking it. Meanwhile, on her way to Terrence's office, Bethany sees Terrence leaving a coffee shop with a woman he hugs goodbye to. She texts him, but he leaves her on read. Girl, he trifling. Desi heads to Georgia's apartment to confront her, but Georgia says she just had the initiative to have it polished. After showing Desi the proof, Desi warns her to ask before doing anything. After Desi leaves, Georgia informs Puck, who's in her apartment, that Desi is becoming a hindrance to their plan. Puck is pucking fine. Terrence finally responds to Bethany's text. He apologizes for being too busy to respond and asks her to pick up Mila. When she does, she sees Gavin with his real mama. Later that night, while working late in the office, Desi gets attacked by a masked intruder in the storage room. She tries to call 911, but an entire shelf of boxes falls on her. Bethany and Georgia visit the unconscious Desi in the hospital. There, Bethany tearfully shares that she thinks Terrence is having an affair because she saw him having coffee with a woman and he lied about it. She adds that he had cheated before, after learning that it would be difficult for them to conceive. Mila was born via a donor egg. When Bethany gets home, she confronts Terrence about his affair. He says that what she saw was a job interview because he got fired after they lost Gavin. He adds that he kept it from her because he didn't want to stress her out more. Since he's still looking for a job, she offers him a job at her company. Bethany returns to the store, and the sales lady tells her that she remembers someone talking about meeting Georgia in Mommy Mine. Bethany then checks Mommy Mine and sees Georgia commenting on a post by Grace Goldstein, offering her services and saying she's a surrogate. When Bethany looks up Grace online, the search results are all articles about Grace and her husband, Kevin Bailey, found dead in bed from carbon monoxide poisoning. Bethany prints the articles and talks to Georgia about them. That's literally the dumbest thing you could have done. Georgia is shocked that the couple is dead and suspects Puck might have something to do with it. She also tells Bethany that she was afraid she would learn that she had a previous miscarriage. Puck later arrives at Georgia's apartment, and upon seeing the articles, angrily asks Georgia if she's the one behind the deaths because it wasn't part of the plan. Carmen appears and casually admits that she did it, angering Puck. See, you can't trust a holistic, big-back redhead. To calm Puck down, Georgia informs him that their new plan is worth $600,000. She says in 48 hours, Halo is going to unload a truck full of expensive art, which is what they're going to steal before they leave for good. Puck hesitantly agrees after he makes them promise that no one else will die. Georgia kisses him. Then Carmen agrees too that no one else will die, and Carmen kisses him too. What in the Portland throuple is going on here? Meanwhile, Bethany is in the nursery inspecting Georgia's framed sonogram. She then discovers that Georgia's name is just pasted on top of the real pregnant woman's name, Abby Sparkman. As it turns out, Georgia is just wearing a silicone belly to appear pregnant. Anyone else's jaws stay in place? Bethany uses her key to enter Georgia's apartment. Snooping around, she discovers Georgia's bellies hanging in the closet. Unfortunately, Carmen catches her and knocks her out. Bethany awakens in Halo's storage area, where the trio reveals that they're accomplices. Georgia reveals their next plan and forces Bethany to call and tell Terrence that she'll be spending the night at the hospital in case Desi wakes up. After Georgia and Carmen leave Puck with Bethany, Bethany appeals to Puck's conscience and convinces him to let her go. Georgia catches Bethany escaping and stops her at gunpoint. When Puck threatens to call the cops, Carmen stabs him, shocking Georgia. So Bethany uses this chance to escape. While Carmen and Georgia are chasing Bethany, Halo's security guard Owen arrives. Meanwhile, Terrence and Mila visit Desi. When they don't find Bethany there, Terrence checks Bethany's location tracker and learns that Bethany is in Halo. Georgia hunts down Bethany and Carmen shoots Owen. Terrence and Mila arrive at Halo and are horrified to see Owen's corpse in the parking lot. Terrence leaves Mila in the car for her safety while he goes and checks what's going on. But Carmen finds her. When Carmen appears with Mila as a hostage, the bleeding Puck tackles her, allowing Mila to run to Bethany. During the struggle, Puck shoots Carmen, and they both die. No, not the eye candy. While Georgia hunts down Bethany and Mila, Bethany had watched too many Tubi movies and uses a decor to knock Georgia out. Shortly after, Terrence finds them, and they hurriedly leave. After Desi recovers, Desi and the Hornbys spend time together at the park. When they see Cynthia and Gavin arrive, Bethany befriends Cynthia, and the Hornbys hug Gavin, missing their little boy. I actually really enjoyed this one, even though Bethany pissed me all the way off. What did you guys think of it?
If you like this video, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications because YouTube isn't recommending my videos. So, if you like to watch more foolishness, you can click here or here.